G'day, it's fugitive Australian journalist Shane Dowling from the website kangaroocourtofaustralia.com. Now, I've just published an article in relation to King Charles conspiring with Rupert Murdoch to destroy the reputation of his own son, Prince Harry and Meghan Markle. Now, this video will be an overview of that article, but it will also provide further evidence of why King Charles, who was also King of Australia, isn't fit to be King of Australia. Whether he's King of England or not, that's their choice. Given that Rupert Murdoch's puppet in Australia, former Prime Minister Scott Morrison, abused the Constitution when he was Prime Minister over the last few years, with the help of the Governor-General David Hurley, who was King Charles's delegate in Australia. So we really need to be expediting Australia's transfer to a republic, I believe, and it's mainly because of King Charles not being fit and proper person to be King of Australia, and his treatment of Prince Harry is centre to that. He's absolutely deserted him and conspired with Rupert Murdoch to destroy his reputation for his own benefit. So let's have a look at the evidence. But to start off, let's have a quick reminder of how the royal family and King Charles treated Princess Diana, because her complaints about the royal family leaking lies against her, is almost identical to what Prince Harry is saying. He's claiming that the royal family has leaked lies against him. And the royal family's treatment of Princess Diana was almost identical to their treatment of Prince Harry, or his alleged treatment. In 1981, King Charles, who was then Prince Charles, married Lady Diana, and they had two children, Prince William and Prince Harry. And by 1987, they actually separated publicly. They were still living the life of a happily married couple, but in private they were separated. And in 1992, they actually officially separated. In 1995, Lady Diana gave the infamous interview where she unlifted the lid on the royal family and how they treated her, pretty much like how Prince Harry has done now with his book and his various interviews. So let's have a listen to what Lady Diana said in that interview in 1995.
Do you think Mrs. Parker Bowles was a factor in the breakdown of your marriage?
Well, there were three of us in this marriage, so it was a bit crowded.
In 1996, Prince Charles and Lady Diana officially divorced, and in 1997, Princess Diana was involved in a fatal car crash. Now, like his mother, Prince Harry has accused the royal family of leaking lies to the media to damage his reputation, and I believe there's a very powerful prima facie case of that. So let's have a look at some of the recent evidence supporting that claim. Now, here's a picture of Prince Charles and Camilla in 2018. Celebrating his 70th birthday with 70 of the Sun's readers who entered a competition so they could have a party with Prince Charles. So to me, that's Prince Charles aiding and abetting the Sun to help promote them and their propaganda. And you have to remember that's owned by Rupert Murdoch, and they regularly report lies about the royal family, and they're probably the ones leading the attack on Meghan Markle and Prince Harry globally, whether it be in England, the US or in Australia. Now, here's a picture of Prince Charles meeting with Victoria Newton, who's an editor of The Sun, and she apparently met with Prince Charles the day before the Queen died, and she's published this story in The Sun promoting her and how she's got close contacts with Prince Charles. And it was a one-on-one meeting with Victoria Newton, Prince Charles, and photographer and Prince Charles's staff. So that just shows you how tight King Charles is with the media, and especially The Sun. And that's important because The Sun in December ran a story actually attacking Meghan Markle in a massive way by one of the Sun's propagandists, which is owned by Rupert Murdoch. Now, in the article I published on Sunday the 22nd of January 2023 in relation to King Charles conspiring with Rupert Murdoch to destroy Prince Harry and Meghan Markle, I focus on Camilla's relationship with Jeremy Clarkson, who was one of Rupert Murdoch's propagandists. In the article he wrote in The Sun attacking Meghan Markle, and the fact that he's been supported by Camilla and a very close friend to Camilla, and the fact that King Charles and Camilla haven't criticised The Sun or Jeremy Clarkson for writing that trashy article, which The Sun ultimately pulled after widespread criticism. The article was published in December 2022 in The Sun by Jeremy Clarkson, and he talks about how he'd love for Meghan Markle to be paraded down the street naked and for the public to be throwing excrement at her. Pretty grubby article all up. Now here's a picture of Camilla in 2022 meeting with Lord Rothermore, who's the owner of the Daily Mail and Mail on Sunday. The Daily Mail has a website in Australia, which is well known for ripping off articles from anyone and everyone, real fraudster website. So he's not hardly a man of ethics, but that hasn't stopped Camilla meeting with him, and she seems to be the number one leaker as far as Prince Harry is concerned. And Camilla is the one with the most to gain from currying favour with the tabloids, leaking stories with them, trying to build up a relationship, because during the period where she was involved in a love triangle between Prince Charles, Lady Diana and herself, she was well known for being the most hated woman in Britain, if not the world. So King Charles and Camilla are happy to grovel to all the tabloid media, including the Daily Mail and others. But it's their relationship with Rupert Murdoch which is probably the most powerful and strongest. And that strong relationship between King Charles and Rupert Murdoch and the Sun is shown with the recent articles about Prince Andrew trying to make a bid to overturn the multi-million-dollar settlement he did with Virginia Giuffre. My understanding that is a hope in hell of happening. But they're running propaganda stories anyhow, probably to help with the coronation of King Charles so it's not quite as embarrassing for him. The reality is Prince Andrew is a sex offender and almost certainly a pedophile. The fact that his name is raised in conjunction with the royal family at any point in time shows the royal family, including King Charles, have no shame. Now I'd just like to finish off with some audio from the documentary Camilla's Country Life, which I discuss in the article and which went to air last year on ITV in UK. It's really just a documentary following Camilla as she guest edits the magazine Country Life. And it's really just a propaganda documentary to try and boost her credibility and her reputation with the public. And the main part is for like 2.5 minutes. Jeremy Clarkson talks about his very close relationship with Camilla. But there's an interesting part at the beginning where they talk about the fact that Camilla's grandmother was a favourite mistress of King Charles's great-great-grandfather. I find that an odd admission to make, but they make it anyhow.
There's a long connection between Camilla's family and the top tier of British society. Her maternal grandparents were Sonia Keppel and Roland Cubitt. Her great-grandmother was Alice Keppel, the favourite mistress of King Edward VII, Prince Charles's great-great-grandfather.
Now let's listen to Jeremy Clarkson talk about his close relationship with Camilla, because when the recent scandal hit in December 2022 when he wrote that article attacking Harry and Meghan Markle, the media tried to make out their relationship wasn't that close, so he was just an invitee to a function around the same time. Oh, no big issue. But the reality is he has a lot closer relationship with Camilla than the media were reporting. And that's important because Camilla and the King Charles really had an obligation to distance himself and make a public statement from his article, but they refused to do so, which is very telling as far as I'm concerned. It sort of leads to speculation and of his conclusion that they've actually approved that attack Clarkson made on Meghan Markle and Harry.
While the role of king, and indeed queen, await, Camilla is preoccupied filling the pages of her magazine, which includes a range of British rural heroes. Her husband is her top choice, and her next pick reveals Her Royal Highness is full of surprises.
Camilla, the Duchess, has looked at everybody who works in the countryside and decided I'm one of its champions and you aren't.
What? No.
Yeah, they have.
That's bullshit.
Country Life journalist Julie Harding has been dispatched
Good to see you too. Thank you very much.
to meet writer, broadcaster and farmer Jeremy Clarkson.
Look, they're all keen to see me, as you can see. They really like me. And that you can tell that because they turn their backs on me as soon as I get here.
So, Jeremy, why do you think you've been chosen?
I think it's my lifelong work, environmental work. Except it isn't, is it? I'm friendly with her son. I honestly don't know.
He made people realise how difficult farming is. I think some people see farming, sort of, cows sitting in a meadow on a beautiful day, and they don't realise the work and the difficulties that are behind it.
Do you know the Duchess very well?
Yes, I think we get on very well. we used to go and, perhaps I shouldn't say this, but we used to go and sort of sneak a crafty fag round the back of things. But I don't smoke anymore, so.
Do you know, does she?
I think she might sneak a crafty one in occasionally, but I mean, listen, you'd have to ask her.
While the Duchess has not in fact smoked for decades, Jeremy needs all his spare lung capacity for his diddly squat farm, which covers 1,000 acres.
There's no evidence that the hunt comes through here at all, so don't look down.
And when he's not caring for his crops or his chickens, he can be found hanging with Camilla.
She's very good with people. She's got a great twinkle in her eye. I mean, she obviously came from a privileged background, but not so privileged that, you know, the cushions have to be velvet and, you know, the blue M&Ms have to be taken out. So you do get the impression that she is one of us.
Because it's a strange life they lead, isn't it?
Oh, imagine. I can't even begin the horror of it. I mean, I sort of know to a certain extent what it's like when people recognise you. And it's, I mean, I've cultivated over the years a brusque image, let's put it that way. So I can tell people to bugger off. And they sort of expect it. But somebody like the Duchess can't say, will you leave me alone? Because people wouldn't expect that of her. She has to be gracious, she has to be polite.
She can always walk away.
Well, I don't think she can even do that. She's got to just stand there and listen to people being incredibly boring, because imagine how boring people would be.
Now that's the end of the video. It could have been hours long, but can't run forever. But in that 10-minute video, I think the prima facie case is made out that King Charles is colluding with Rupert Murdoch and his propaganda companies. He calls them media companies, but they're propaganda companies. People like Jeremy Clarkson don't move their mouth unless Rupert Murdoch tells them to. So it's interesting that Jeremy Clarkson attacks Prince Harry for being a puppet for Meghan Markle, when the reality is that Jeremy Clarkson's nothing but a puppet, and he's Rupert Murdoch's puppet. And his close relationship with Camilla really sets the foundation for the prima facie case that King Charles is in bed with Rupert Murdoch. Now, I'll finish this video off the same way I finished off the article I published on Sunday, and that is that most Australians don't put a republic high on the agenda. But with King Charles now in bed with Rupert Murdoch and Lachlan Murdoch, the Australian Republic issue needs to be brought forward, and it's something we should probably be voting on in the next 5 to 10 years, because King Charles is not fit to be King of Australia, which he currently is. Make sure you visit my website, kangaroocourtofaustralia.com, and read that article. It's got further information and links to documents, and also link to the full documentary. Kangaroo Court of Australia is independent media, so please support my Patreon account, which is currently sitting at 226 supporters who have committed to $1,680 a month. You can donate any amount, $3, $5, $10, $15, $20, $30, whatever suits your budget. Most people can afford $3 or $5 a month, and it all helps out. And please share this video on Facebook and Twitter, etc. And if you're watching on YouTube, please hit the like and subscribe button. Other than that, thank you for your time. Have a good day.